Hi class, I'm just going to adjust this a little bit. Okay, so welcome back. I hope all of you had a wonderful Thanksgiving break. I just want to quickly see what you all posted. I want to know how your Thanksgiving was, and I read some of your posts. So I'm just going to, here we go, share screen. Uh, this is what I have with me right now. So, oh no, not this one. Let's stop share. Yep, it's right here. And you're in the week 6 discussion forum. This is where I think question 1 was the one, right? Yeah. Yes, that's it. So I can read this, all your posts. Arya said that it was her Thanksgiving was good. Arya, I tried to look at your picture of the turkey. I could not open it. I was excited to see that somebody's posted a picture, and I wanted to see. She mentioned that this time COVID has really changed the dynamics of the world, and it was strange to see all the neighbors home. She mentioned that. Jay said that it wasn't good compared to the loving and fun past experiences. Oh my goodness. Jay, I'm so sorry. COVID-19, wow, it's taken a total effect on my body. I'm progressing every day and getting normal, getting back to normal life. I hope everybody had a fantastic time. Mohammed says that Thanksgiving was different this year because of COVID, but it was still good. Family was invited to there was a family Thanksgiving at his cousin's, full house, and a lot of food. Okay, so Miha says it was nice. She was with her family and her boyfriend. Mother made really good food. It was weird not being with the rest of our family doing it and doing it virtually. Yes. Okay, Rodney says enjoyable Thanksgiving. Family still got together to spend time together. No pictures to share, but involved a lot of eating. Okay. Maria says Thanksgiving was good. She went to a fancy place for dinner. It was 5 of us and a lot of good food, turkey, mashed potatoes, and everything. Jumana says Thanksgiving was great, a little different. Everybody's saying that it's a little different than other Thanksgiving dinners. Overall, still enjoyed. Was more on the relaxing side. Okay. Sebastian says it was great. Spent with mom at the suburbs. Ate so much. 2 days later, I'm finally able to get out of bed. Anyways, I hope everybody had a good time. Muniaza says it was good, it was different. Didn't get together with the family or friends, but I've been a little sick, but I'm still thankful and happy. Najia says Thanksgiving. We don't celebrate, but I shopped a lot on Black Friday, which was staring to my eyes because I'm a in-person buyer rather than an online buyer. Nice. Okay. All right. I think I covered pretty much everyone. Did I talk? Yeah. Owen was probably, I would mention that his Thanksgiving was absolutely awful because he had a surgery. Yes. And he got to miss the Thanksgiving dinner. So this is all the updates that I have regarding Thanksgiving. Thank you everybody for sharing. 1 second, for sharing your little moments of happiness with the class. I have mine to share with you as well. I had a nice Thanksgiving, and of course, I like all of you. I also it was different this year. I usually most of the times as far as I remember, we meet. My brother-in-law, he lives in North Carolina. My sister lives in Boston, so we try to meet each other during Thanksgiving. But this time, nothing like that happened, and but we just the four of us, my children and my husband, just us. And I've never made a roast. I actually one time I made it with my sister-in-law, so it wasn't, the full credit wasn't mine, but this time it was totally me. I looked up a recipe online. So these days there's so many, I'm talking about like 8 years back, YouTube was still there, but so many YouTubers doing this wasn't that prevalent. So I don't think I even looked at YouTube for recipe 5 years back, 8 years, no, actually 5 years back. But this year I looked at YouTube and I saw a few nice recipes and I used that. So I'll show you, I'll share my pictures with you. Let's see, I pulled it up for you. And now, you know what? I think I may have shut it, or 1 second here. Let's see if I can quickly get it or not. Yeah, I did pull it up for you. 1 second. All right, here we go. Yeah. So you can see this is my little, I hope I'm not offending anybody who's a vegetarian. Taken some aerial shots. We didn't have turkey. One of you mentioned, as I didn't get to cook turkey because no one in my family enjoys turkey. They find it very dry. I like turkey though, but I had to go with the family's choice. So I cooked chicken, and it was perfect, very nice. And mashed potato gravy. Then I made the stuffing, and there's this asparagus au gratin that's hidden here, and the bread roll was there, and the apple pie was store bought. So yeah, so here we go. My pan, my son, my chicken, and it's my son. Just wanted to share these pictures with you. All right, thank you. So yeah, so this is my update for you. I had a nice relaxing time with the family. And yeah, one of you mentioned a lot of Zoom calls. Yes, we connected with our family worldwide, and there were a lot of Zoom calls that were made. And you talked about Black Friday. Black Friday is such a huge concept, and US being US, such a big part of the world, that everybody, like most people, I have friends who are in Australia, in India, and UK, and they were asking me, how did you shop on Black Friday? What do you do? So I said, how do you all know? I said, of course, everybody knows the Black Friday concept of Black Friday. So I said, no, for me at least, Black Friday happened 2 weeks before because deals were on, so I didn't have to really wait for Black Friday. But it depends upon the kind of stuff you're interested in. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to tell you. All right, now moving on. This is the last segment of our speech. We just have 2 more weeks, and that's it, and then we'll be done. This is week 7 for you, and you guys, you're going to be together for till week 8. So yeah, so that's what it's going to be. We have about two more, roughly. Your next speech is on December 13th. So next speech, as in like the proper 200 points graded speech, is on December 13th. But yeah, so that's what we're going to discuss today. And this segment is called Argumentation and Debate. Okay. So what I'll do right now is I'm going to pull up a slide and show that slide to you. It's just a very simple slide. I kept it very simple. Just about 4 slides. Give me a second here. No. Okay. Yeah, got it. So as you can see, I'm going to show you the slides here. And this is what I'm going to tell you guys. As I mentioned to you, this is the segment on argumentation and debate. And we haven't been together for a whole lot of time. However, this is perhaps one of the most challenging speeches that you will see. The reason is all the other speeches that you've done a lot of work in this class. You did your profile speech, your informative speech, your persuasive speech, and this is your final speech for the class. So, and it's all building up. There's a reason why this speech was not at the beginning of the semester. Okay, this is at the end of the semester, because all the concepts that you've learned will all kind of culminate here. Okay, so there'll be a lot of things that you've learned will all come together here in the speech. It's called argumentation and debate speech, and it's a great follow-up for us right after our persuasive speech is done. Okay, so it's like if you don't know how to do a persuasive speech, you'll not be able to do this. Okay, so it's like a prerequisite. Okay, to know persuasive speech is a prerequisite for you to know argumentation and debate. So just to give a little bit of a background here, argumentation and debate. So I've been coaching in debate teams at COD, at North Central College, and I pretty much, and I've observed professors who are in the same profession teaching communication courses. One of the most popular models that most communication professors follow when they teach debates is Toulmin's model of argumentation. Just like you did Monroe's motivated sequence, which is action. You know that action needs satisfaction, visualization, action step. I'm sorry, did I say action? I said attention, need, satisfaction, visualization, action step. Which is Monroe's motivated sequence. In a debate, there's a different template or a different form of model that is followed. Okay, and collaboratively, I think I've kind of touched base with a lot of people who teach debates across the country, and most of my colleagues, they prefer and they talk about using Toulmin's model of argumentation to teach debating skills to students. Okay, and that's the first thing that they do. And then there are several, when you take an advanced class on debates, there's several strategies, different kinds of debates. We're not getting into that. We just have very short time to cover a lot of things. And I wanted to keep this segment at the end and give it some time. Okay, so, but one of the basic things that you have to learn, no matter, for a basic debate is argumentation based on Toulmin's model of argumentation. Okay, so I'm keeping on telling you Toulmin's model of argumentation constantly. I'm repeating that to you, right? So you may be wondering, what am I talking about? Just like you had Maslow's hierarchy, Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you did Monroe's motivated sequence, you'll have Toulmin's model of argumentation. So who's Toulmin? All right, you might be asking this question. So let me share this slide with you right now. One second, please. Yeah. So this is the question that you may have is who am I talking about, right? So this person's name is Stephen Toulmin, all right? And he's a British-based philosopher. And he basically went to a lot of courtrooms, all right? He looked at how lawyers would argue in courtrooms, and he found that really helpful. He thought to himself that this is a great way of arguing when you look at a courtroom and the way the lawyers argue with each other. He found it very effective, but he also realized that that could be, he's this person, okay, I'm just showing you the picture, he's Stephen Toulmin. So, so even though he found, their way of arguing with each other very effective, he did realize that it could be a little bit of a disadvantage, or it could be very technical for a common person, okay, who doesn't need to know so many legal terms. So he wanted to make it easy for any of us to follow when we make an argument. So he kind of made it easier for us, okay. So of course he got bragging rights because it was his model of argumentation. So based on all these courtroom proceedings, based on how the lawyers argue, he created this model and he called it Toulmin's model of argumentation. And this model has a few components. So these are some of the components that it has. There is data or evidence, there is claim, there is warrant, backing, modifier, and rebuttal. So I'm going to explain each of these concepts to you right now. Okay, so here we go. Give me a second, class here. All right, just. All right, here we are. All right, we're looking at, this is also, this slide is attached on your PowerPoint by instructors on Blackboard, all right? And I'll also put it on the discussion forum, okay? So you guys should be all good. It just has about 4 slides here. So of course, this is argumentation and debate. He is the guy who's created this. He's the master. His name is, he's a British philosopher. His name is Stephen Toulmin, as I mentioned. And this is his, this is his model of argumentation. So this is called Toulmin's argumentation model. And as I mentioned to you, these are some of the things that one second here, that there's one thing that's missing. Just, I don't know how that was missing. I'm sorry about that. Data or the evidence or the proof. Okay. All right. All right. So these are some of the components of the model. Data, which is the evidence, the proof. This is when you hear any speech or anybody who makes an argument. Forget a speech, okay? Just think about anybody who's making an argument, who's making a point. All right, it could be a friend. If you're arguing with your friend, let's say who is a better basketball player? Is it LeBron James or is it Michael Jordan? Okay, let's say your friend is saying that Michael Jordan is a better player than LeBron James. He's making a point, all right? So how does he make his point? Well, he gives you evidence, okay, that shows that LeBron James, based on the metrics, has always been or has proven to be a better player, okay, in terms of everything that you can think about. Okay, I'm not into basketball at all, so I won't be able to give you some great examples here, but you can think about different kinds of evidence that shows LeBron James is a better player. LeBron, did I say? Okay, let's say LeBron James is a better player than Michael Jordan. Okay, so that's the data and that's the evidence. All right, so. And if you're making any claim, you got to back it up with data or evidence, all right? So you can begin with a claim and say that LeBron James is a better player than Michael Jordan. And these are the reasons, then you back it up. These are the reasons which make him a better player than Michael Jordan. So you make a claim and then you back it up with evidence. You can also begin your argument with a lot of evidence and then you put the claim in the middle, okay? So you can do it both ways, but typically when we are making an argument, we first give the person, the audience, in a debate situation, the opponent, the claim, and then we back it up with evidence, right? So that's as simple as that. So data is the evidence or the proof for your claim. So when you're listening to, let's say you're listening to, you're listening to or hearing a persuasive documentary, okay? And once you hear the documentary, you know that whoever has designed the documentary is providing you evidence. A case in point will be, I don't know, and I wanted to show this to you, but I think that we'll be digressing a lot. We don't have a whole lot of time to play with here. So like I'll just give you an example. The What the Health. If you watch this documentary called What the Health on Netflix, and it's also available on just online, if you just type it to come. It's a 1.5 hours documentary about how the animal dairy and the fish industry has caused a spike in chronic diseases, okay, chronic fatal diseases. So it's the whole documentary is that. So it basically, this one person has kind of created a documentary, and he's created evidence, and he's collected different kinds of proof, and when you watch it, you, based on the kind of reasoning, or based on the kind of evidence that he has given you throughout the documentary, you know that this is the claim that he's making. Claim is basically the conclusion that you arrive at based on your evidence. Okay, so just give you like another example of LeBron James being a better player than Michael Jordan. So you make a claim, and then you back it up with evidence. Okay, so that's what it is. That's what data or evidence is, and claim is the conclusion that you reach from the evidence. Okay, now this is something that you need to know, and I don't think you need to know this one. Once, give me a second here. So you can ask yourself, but I'll probably just going to take this out for you guys. So, so you can ask yourself as, how did I make a leap from the data to the claim? How did I make a leap? She's almost making a leap from the data to the claim. How did I make this jump? You made this jump from the data to the claim through one factor here. The leap that you made from data to the claim was only possible because of Mr. Warrant, all right? So when you heard or when you saw the evidence, based on the evidence, you came to a conclusion, right? Or you came to a claim. Just like, as I mentioned to you, even giving you another example, if you watch a murder mystery and you see all the evidence that has been shown to you, based on the evidence, you come to a claim, right? Or you come to a conclusion that this so-and-so is the murderer, right? So similarly, how do you, when you're watching evidence or when you're observing the evidence, you are making a jump from, you're making a jump from the data or the evidence to a claim. There's a jump that's happening. And how do you go? There's something that will help you to go from the data to the claim. Mr. Warrant helps you. Warrant is nothing other than reasoning. Always remember that. Warrant is your reasoning, okay? So that makes you jump from the data to the claim. Okay, so I'll just make a change here. That's just to keep it simple, from the data to the claim. So this is what is reasoning. So you'll see, the reasoning will guide you. So for example, when you're saying that in the documentary that I watched, What the Hell, there was things like a patient who is going through a lot of chronic diseases like heart disease, high cholesterol, high blood sugar. And she's saying that, you know, her diet is completely messed up and it's full of animal fat, and it is full of fish, animal fat, and dairy. And she says that this has caused her to really deteriorate through the years. And so if this person, whoever is designing this documentary, is showing that kind of evidence, he wants the audience who's watching the documentary to use perhaps here, I think he's using, you know, just logic based on the example that has been used. The person who's saying that who's been affected is a you know, regular person like any of us, and we may be able to see an aunt in that person, or an uncle in that person, or a friend in that person. So he uses those examples that we can relate to. All right, so that's the reasoning that he's following. He's using people who are very, you know, who we see in our regular daily lives. And we are able to kind of associate somebody we know in our family, or as a friend who is also suffering just like she is. Okay, so that's the reasoning. So kind of you can see that reasoning here involves a lot of ethos, because the person is credible, because she's suffering and she's saying that I'm suffering because of the animal consumption, or the dairy consumption that I did through the years. And so there's ethos, there is pathos. All right, we feel bad for the person because she's saying that she can have a heart attack within 22 days. All right, she's saying that. So so different kinds of evidence is very selectively chosen by the person who's making an argument, very selectively chosen, kind of playing on what the audience would be most persuaded by. Where is the need? What's the need of the, remember we talked about this a number of times, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. What need are they tapping into? All right, so there's a lot of, I mean, we can just have one whole day of discussion about warrant. Okay, how do people use reasoning? What's the best way to use reasoning? And believe it or not, when you're making an argument, reasoning or warrant is one of the most important things. You got that wrong, anybody could just wipe your claim. Okay, anybody could attack you, and you if your reasoning is not good, and your reasoning also shows, your reasoning kind of commands the kind of evidence that you use, because you know that this is the kind of reasoning I'm going to use, so let me choose this kind of evidence, right? So it's very important for you to know what kind of reasoning you're using. The reasoning is again could be based on ethos, logos, pathos, the kind of you should know what a reasonable audience is expecting, what will ring most true, what will ring most true to an audience. That's the kind of reasoning that you should be using. Okay, so now that's what warrant is. All right. So now Mr. Warrant is not by as I mentioned to you, that in an argumentation and a debate speech, warrant is very, very important. It's one of the most important ones. So even within an argument, it doesn't, warrant has a support system. Okay, so if you think about warrant doesn't stand by itself. It is supported. There's a lot of attention given to warrant. So in an argument, we make sure that warrant is not alone, it is supported by backing. Okay, so backing is just a way to support warrant. So backing, like you can think about it as like Mr. Backing goes back and forth with Mr. Warrant and makes sure that that Mr. Warrant is standing tall and strong. Okay, so it's a support for the warrant. So backing is going to ask warrant that, do you think you've provided the right reasons? Why do you think that this is the right reason? Warrant goes back and says that, let's say, I give you an example here. Let's say in this the What the Health documentary, when you think about this documentary, the kind of, as I mentioned to you, the whole claim was that animal fat and dairy and fish is bad for your health. So we should not have food that is based on any of these products, okay? And and the reasoning that has been used is they have said that most of these animals, they are not processed well. They have a lot of antibiotics inside them, and even if they're raised, in a healthy way, yet the human body cannot process all that fat. Okay, it's just and having milk or dairy, it kind of creates a lot of stress-related hydrocortisone. It increases that. It creates high cholesterol. It shows us different, and that's the kind of reasoning that they've used is, that eating this is unhealthy. And so they've given us various kinds of examples that shows how this is how eating animals or how eating a dairy will lead to cancer. It could lead to diabetes. It could lead to heart diseases. It just shows that. Okay, and now that's the reasoning that is used, is basically like a causal, a cause and effect. Okay, this is the cause of this, and this is the effect that happens. Okay, so it uses cause and effect primarily in the whole documentary. You'll see the kind of warrant or the reasoning that is used is, this is the cause of this. High blood pressure. Animal fat is the cause of high blood pressure, and as a result of high blood pressure, you will have a heart attack. So like something like this, cause and effect. It shows, and one of the strategies is using cause and effect. Now, if backing wants to ask warrant that, do you think the reasons that the cause and effects that you're showing, you're talking about this particular patient, you're talking about this medical, board certified heart surgeon, these people are all talking about, you're supporting your position. Do you think that's the best strategy, or that's the best step? Well, warrant will go back and say to backing, he would say that, yes, I think that's the reasoning that we should approach. That's the reasoning that we should be taking, because people want to see, there are a lot of diseases that are happening right now, and most of the diseases that are happening, let's say heart disease or diabetes, these are more of a lifestyle diseases. This is something that we can, it's just not, sometimes it's genetic, but that's a whole different discussion that happens there. But if we have a good lifestyle, then we will not have these diseases. And that's what backing will, that's what warrant will go and tell backing, that no, you know what, people know at the back of the mind, people know that these diseases are caused a lot by lifestyle issues rather than just based thinking about it as a family history. A lot of things that they can do in their own life by eating healthy, by eating vegan, by exercising, that they can reach actually not only stop this disease, but they can also reverse this disease. So this is what they're backing and Warrant will go back and forth with each other, just trying to know that whether the reasoning that Warrant has used is the best reasoning. All right. So Warrant is always supported by backing. All right. So you see the reasons that reasoning that has been chosen is always going to be supported by backing. Otherwise, Warrant cannot stand by itself. It's always supported by backing. That's what backing does. Now, modality, and again, I'm going to change this word here. I'm going to call it, second here, 1 second. I'll call it modifier. People, I mean, it's the same term, but I'm more used to modifier. So then one of the things that I want to mention in a argument, claim is extremely visual. I mean, you have to, claim is very distinct. It is, you hear the evidence and you have a very crystal clear claim in front of your opponent or in front of the audience that this is what my claim is. Warrant and backing, both of them are warrant, especially, it could be, it's very implied. There, in an argument, you're probably going to say, this is why I'm saying this, because, this is why I'm going to use this research, or this is why I'm going to use that research. Sometimes we say it, sometimes we don't say it, and it's implied, okay? Because we think the audience is intelligent enough or reasonable enough for them to, we don't need to spell out our reasoning. They will understand the reason. So it's implied, okay? And of course, backing is, warrant, what's wrong? I'm sorry, and of course, backing is also very, very invisible, okay? Backing is there to support warrant. So it's a conversation that happens, warrant and backing with each other, where both are actually not really, visible within the conversation. It's implied, okay? So claim is very visible. It has to be a crystal clear sentence spoken from the mouth of the debater. Warrant and backing, warrant, sometimes you will see it clearly within an argument, the kind of reasoning that they use, and they exactly tell you. 1 second, class, I just lost electricity. Oh gosh. Turn this off. 1 second. Okay. So yeah, so claim is crystal clear. You can see it clearly, and the debater has to pronounce it clear. It has to clearly indicate that this is the claim. Warrant, sometimes you can see it, that the kind of reasoning that's used, it's very, sometimes they specify the kind of reasoning that they're using, but most of the time it is very implied. You can't really touch and feel and say that this is the reasoning. Okay, I can feel it, I can touch it. You just hear the data and evidence, and you make a claim. So there's an implied, there's an invisible jump that you make when you hear the evidence, and when you reach a conclusion or a claim. There's an invisible, like a murder mystery. Like if you watch different kinds of evidence that has been shown to you, and then it's not really, nobody says that this is the kind of reasoning you're using to reach your conclusion, but you do it, right? You are watching those things, all of a sudden there's something in your mind based on the evidence that you are watching. You kind of make a jump from the evidence to the claim based on the reasoning, and this reasoning is invisible. It is implied. It goes on in your brain. You really can't touch and feel and say that this is my reasoning. Similarly, in an argument, you really can't, most of the time, you cannot really touch and feel and say, this is my warrant, okay? And again, backing is also very invisible. This is a support system for warrant, okay? Warrant has to be strong. Backing then only supports warrant. It doesn't really, that's how it emerges in the argument. You can't really pick and touch and see where backing is. Modifier, just like the claim, is very visual. You have to use it. You have to, I have to, when you're making an argument, I have to see where your modifier is. So I have to hear and I have to see where it is. Okay. So modifier is basically when you're making a claim and then you're adding a few words that shows the strength of your claim. For example, you say that most probably under these circumstances, I think that LeBron James is a better player than Michael Jordan. Or under these circumstances, with careful consideration, I think that animal dairy and the fish industry is responsible for some chronic diseases. All right, some chronic fatal diseases. Okay. That's so when you're saying with careful consideration, or you're saying most probably in this situation, when you're not very sure about your claim, you say most probably. Use these words to kind of, if you try to say that this is my claim and there is no and I have not, this is my claim, these are my words, so it's it has to be the word of God. The audience is not going to be very happy about it, because you have to show that you really looked at your claim is not the only claim in the world, and it has contending views, and the fact that you spent a lot of time looking at some different positions, and you have done your research, and however and you have seen different kinds of positions, and however you feel that under the situation, under the current circumstances, your claim is the best claim. Okay, so modifier, basically you say most certainly, most probably, after careful consideration, kind of shows the strength of your claim. After careful consideration is really strong. Most probably says strong, but not like 100%. Most certainly says it's 100% sure, strong. Okay, so that's what a modifier does. The final one is rebuttal. So this is exactly, and I think this transition is very nicely smooth. So we are moving from one to another to another. It's done nicely. So rebuttal is an exception to the claim. All right. So let's say that you make a claim based on facts, saying that this is, I'll use this one, that this is the best mouse available in the market. This is the best mouse that's available in the market. However, and that's my claim. All right. However, rebuttal is an exception to the claim. I say that this is the best mouse that's available in the market. However, this is not going to work in its full capacity if you dip it in water, or if you completely try to move this mouse over a very hard surface, then this is not going to be that effective. So those are, what I just said is an exception to my claim. That's called the rebuttal. Okay. Now you might be asking right now as you watch my video here, is that why I'm trying to sell this, right? I'm going to make sure that I keep saying that this is the best. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to, make my situation or make myself look weak by talking about the disadvantages of this one, or situation when this may not be the best. You can ask yourself this question, but I feel, and I don't know how you feel, but I feel that when I hear a person like critique their own product and understand the weaknesses of their product and talk about it, I just find it much more convincing and much more believable, right? And I feel that, it adds to the ethos of the argument, because I know that the person who's saying this has done enough research and also knows the weaknesses that this has. So as an audience, I will give that person more credit than having a person who basically talks only good things and doesn't say uh, maybe some disadvantages of or exceptions where this may not be the best product. However, having said that, you always have to show that even though this has two two exceptions, to that, though I claim that this is the best mouse that is available in the market. However, it might not work well when if I dip it in water, or if I move it over a very rough surface, it might not work well. So these are my rebuttals. These are my exceptions to the claim. However, I will have to refute what I'm saying. Okay, I will have to refute my rebuttal by saying that I know that these are the two, exceptions to my claim. However, what are the chances? I mean, I'm selling this to a college population. What are the chances of somebody purposely dipping it in water? I don't see that happening. Or what are the chances, this is going to be selling it to, responsible people. Why would, and everybody has a mouse pad, why would they do it over a rough surface? I mean, what are the, it's very, very unlikely. So given the situation that we have, and given the two exceptions that I've said, which are very weak ones, I don't see that happening. So you kind of lessen their worth and saying that, so even there are two exceptions to my claim is still very strong. Okay, because the two exceptions that I said is very rare. I mean, I don't see that happening at all. Okay, so that's what you do in an argument. So you have your evidence, which is your data. You choose a data very wisely. You choose your evidence very wisely based on the kind of reasoning that you want to use. So once you have a topic, you need to now know that this is my topic. This is what I'm interested in. What kind of reasoning do I want to use? And or you can think about some very very important proofs or evidence, and then you can say that, okay, this is the evidence that I'm going to choose. So what's the reasoning that I have? Is it the best form? Is this the best that I can do? You can always you ask yourself, and then that's what backing does. It keeps asking warrant, keeps pushing warrant, and it keeps asking warrant tough questions like, is this the best reasoning? Why do you think it's the best reasoning? And this and warrant just backs it up by saying that because this has happened in the past, this is based on people's memory, and this is based on people's emotional attachment. That's why I'm using this kind of reasoning. So they go back and forth with each other. Okay. And then I told you about a modifier and a rebuttal. So these are these are some of the components that you need to focus on. I'm just going to save this up. 1 second here. Okay. Yep. All right. So these are the ones that you need to focus. Okay. There's a very simple one. I can give you multiple examples in my video, but I have some simple ones here. You can just look at this and you can now figure it out. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So now going back to your Blackboard. Okay. Oh, no. All right, here's Blackboard. Okay. Now going to your Blackboard, you will go to your home page, and once you go to your home page, week 7 is the one that you need to click. Okay. So you click week 7, then you click discussion board, then you scroll down to the end till you can't go any further. You'll see this new title, Argumentation and Debate Part 1. And you click that, there'll be 2 discussion questions. You go to discussion question 1. This is what I'll give you a link here. So by the time you go on Blackboard. The link will be of this video, all right, that you're watching right now. And I will actually ask you to go to a speech, and I'll cue it for you, right? Actually, I'll do it right now. And you're going to watch this 3-minute speech of President Obama. It's a short speech, just 3 minutes, and you're going to watch it. And once you watch it, you have to tell me what's the data or the evidence, what's the claim, what's the warrant, what's the backing, what's the modifier, what's the and what's the rebuttal. Okay. So I need you to do, and you need to submit or type your response here in the discussion forum, and you need to respond to 2 classmates, and you need to submit this assignment by 5 p.m. on December 5th. It's just a 3-minute speech. You just watched me explain to you what Toulmin's model of argumentation is, and you're going to watch this speech, and you're going to tell me the different parts of the speech and in terms of data, claim, warrant, backing, modifier, rebuttal. Okay, so let me play the clip for you right now. Give me a second here. I did cue it for you. Yeah, I did cue it. 1 second, I'm just going to lower the volume right now.
When dictators commit atrocities, they depend upon the world to look the other way until those horrifying pictures fade from memory. But these things happened. The facts cannot be denied. The question now is what the United States of America and the international community is prepared to do about it. Because what happened to those people, to those children, is not only a violation of international law, it's also a danger to our security. Let me explain why. If we fail to act, the Assad regime will see no reason to stop using chemical weapons. As the ban against these weapons erodes, other tyrants will have no reason to think twice about acquiring poison gas and using them. Over time, our troops would again face the prospect of chemical warfare on the battlefield. And it could be easier for terrorist organizations to obtain these weapons and to use them to attack civilians. If fighting spills beyond Syria's borders, these weapons could threaten allies like Turkey, Jordan, and Israel. And a failure to stand against the use of chemical weapons would weaken prohibitions against other weapons of mass destruction and embolden Assad's ally, Iran, which must decide whether to ignore international law by building a nuclear weapon or to take a more peaceful path. This is not a world we should accept. This is what's at stake. And that is why, after careful deliberation, I determined that it is in the national security interests of the United States to respond to the Assad regime's use of chemical weapons through a targeted military strike. That's my judgment as commander-in-chief. But I'm also the president of the world's oldest constitutional democracy. So even though I possess the authority to order military strikes, I believed it was right, in the absence of a direct or imminent threat to our security, to take this debate to Congress. I believe our democracy is stronger when the president acts with the support of Congress. And I believe that America acts more effectively abroad when we stand together. This is especially true after a decade that put more and more war-making power in the hands of the president and more burdens on the shoulders of our troops, while sidelining the people's representatives from the critical decisions about when we use force.
Okay, so let's see what kind of sense.
All right, so you just watch this clip, and what you need to do, okay. So you just watch this clip. Now I'll send you the link for this whole video that you're watching, my whole teaching video, and I'll maybe cue it and tell you that this is where the 2-minute clip is, and actually 3-minute speech is. And you just watched him speak. It's a very condensed speech, just a 3-minute speech. Now, based on what you watch, you got to tell me what's the data, what's the claim, what's the warrant, what's the backing, where's the modifier, and what's the rebuttal. Okay. And once you got to put your post here, and then once you put your post, you need to also respond to 2 classmates. You need to submit it by 5 p.m. on December 5th. Okay. So now moving on, I will show you what we'll need to do next. Into discussion question 2. Okay, so in discussion question 2 class, what you need to do is you need to provide a list of 5 debatable topics. Okay, I'm sorry, a list of 5 debatable topics that you're interested in. So it could be anything, whatever you're interested in. You could be telling me that I'm interested in sports, or you know, that's the broad area that I'm interested in, or I'm interested in just thinking of, you know, entertainment or politics, whatever you're interested in. Give me 5 debatable topics that you're interested to talk about. Okay, so mention that. One of the, again, I quickly wanted to show you. Let me see whether I may have just, you know, I may have crossed it out, but let's see if I can show you. Britannica pro-con debate. Let's see. Yeah. That's it. Okay, so this is a great one. Britannica, this is very recent, you know, it's on May 29. This one, procon.org. This is a great resource if you're looking for debatable topics. You can go to the site here, procon.org. Britannica just that they acquired it, and it gives you so many issues. You can see the, you know, Santa Claus, presidents, 2020 presidential election is also right now here, and you go here, you know, you name it. There's so many issues. You know, if you're having like a brain freeze and you want to look at some topics, you can go to this one, procon.org. And as I wanted to show that to you. Now moving on here. All right, what is it that you have to do? As I mentioned to you, you have to provide 5 lists of debatable topics. Then you have to choose, after giving me a list of 5 debatable topics that you are interested in, the second thing you need to do is you need to choose any topic. Okay, choose any topic and write an argumentative speech. Okay, it needs to be about. I think I mention it here. No, I didn't. So choose any and write an argumentative speech. It needs to be around 300 words. Okay, 300 words. So it needs to be. I'm sorry. Here, 1 second, class. Edit. I'll just. Actually, I did write. Why did I? Yeah, I did write it. So you can see that if you choose any one topic and write an argumentative speech based on Toulmin's model of argumentation, it needs to be 300 words. So when you record it, you'll see that it should not be more than 3 minutes. All right. So it should be a 2 to 3 minute argument. That's it. So it should not be more than 3 minutes. You need to know that. And you need to type out your argument for whatever topic you choose. You first make a choice and then write your own argument. Remember one thing very important: you don't need to tell me in the argument that you write, this is my claim, this is my warrant, this is my backing. No, we don't talk when we are making an argument, you know, that this is my data, this is my claim. We don't talk like that, right? when you did your persuasive speech, did you say, this is my attention step, this is my need step? You didn't do that. That's for you to know, okay? This similarly here, when you make an argument, that's the template. That's for you to know. That should be behind your head, okay? But it should not emerge in your writing that this is my. So just have, you need to have your data, you need to have your claim, you need to have your warrant, backing, and your modifier and rebuttal. That's what you need to have, all of those elements, and then you make an argument, okay? Once you do it, once you type your argument, please post it here, and then go to Go React, and you'll see that I've opened up a Go React, and I've called it Practice Speech 1, all right? Practice Debate 1. So you need to go there and you need to record your argument, okay? So now, once you record your argument, it's not the end of the story there, okay? So you first type it out here and then go to Go React. By 5 p.m. you need to record it there, okay? Now, just like you will be recording your argumentative speech there, you will also have your classmates, do the same thing, right? So what you need to do is you need to respond to at least 2 of your classmates, all right? And with your counter argument. Now, when I say that you need to respond to at least 2 of your classmates with your counter argument, this is what I'm saying. When I say counter argument is you got to hear their position and counter argue with them, all right? When I say counter argue is you contend, you contend or attack their attack, or address their position and try to tell them that, that their position does not stand based on your research or based on your evidence, okay? The best way to do it is to, if you hear speeches, you'll see that the best way to do it is when you attack the reasoning, what the kind of reasoning that they use. If you say that, your evidence is based on research that was done years back, it's not relevant anymore. Or today, I had one very interesting speech. This is for my synchronous class. I had a student. Okay, so all right, this is what I can show this to you. Instead of me telling you, let me show it to you. Okay, let me show what he said. I think that will be very helpful for you. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to play. It's exactly what I've asked you to do. I had these students in my face-to-face class. They had the same homework. So I want you to hear this speech by the student. So when I say that you have to make a counter, not only do you have to go and type your speech just like, or record your speech, just like these students have done it here, you will now have to, once you got yours done, you recorded your speech, you have to go and hear at least 2 of your classmates' speech and counter argue with them. Counter argue would be to give them contending positions, or you show them how their argument is weak and why is it weak, and either say that their reasoning is not strong, or their reasoning is biased, or that their that the research, there's a different kind of research that proves it in a different way, that proves a different different conclusion. So you will have to counter argue with them. All right. And today there's a whole lot. What we'll do is in our next class, we will really begin the discussion on counter argument. I really don't want you to get in too much into it, because in our next week we're going to focus on that. But I still want you to take a stab and try your hand at counter argumentation. Okay, so I'll just actually, let me just quickly show you the speech.
Should there be breed restrictions in apartments? Animal breed restrictions serve no purpose and aren't based in fact. All animals deserve love, and by supporting breed-specific laws, you support a system that unjustly puts malicious intent on the breed as a whole, rather than using studies and numbers to restrict malicious intent and these breeds by an incident-by-incident basis. Logically, when looking at restrictions for other living situations, like restrictions to felons or with people who have prior confrontations with the police, we go on a case-by-case basis. We don't just blanket statement all of them. I think it makes sense that we wouldn't punish a creature for the color of their fur or their skin. According to the American Veterinary Medical Association, breed restrictions do nothing to reduce the amount of incidents that happen in living communities. In fact, the main breed that is restricted is a pit bull, which in fact isn't a breed at all. The dog that you would know for being a pit bull would be the Staffordshire Bull Terrier. The term pit bull really became popular in America when dogs started being bred for dog fighting. The Staffordshire Bull Terrier is in fact one of the most docile dogs according to the American Kennel Society. And if you look at the restrictions on them and when they happened and when these laws started to come in place, they were used primarily to keep people of color, Black, Latino, from renting in white neighborhoods. And while it's not true that Black and Latino people are the only ones that have pit bulls, or that pit bulls are only owned by Black and Latino people, these groups of people in these communities whose only main interaction with the Black and Latino groups of people have been through the media, not actual authentic interactions. I don't think it's much of a stretch to think that they would cling on to those racist laws that kind of keep their communities the way they want them to be, which I think is wrong.
Okay, you just heard him, make his argument, and you see that the way he's basically said that there, no apartment complex communities should say that these are the breeds that we allow, and there shouldn't be any restriction on pets. And he kind of used the analogy, the kind of reasoning that he used is very strategic. He used the analogy of racism, and he says that just like you would not do racism anymore and say that only these races will live in this community. You can't do that anymore, right? Similarly, if you say that these are the pets that will be allowed and these are the pets that's not going to be allowed in the community, you're also doing some kind of racism. And then he goes back and says, and this is the reasoning that he says, and then he kind of backs it up. Do you see the way he backs it up? He back his this is the reasoning, and he backs it up with his backing is when he says that historically certain races were seen to own pit bulls, and when an apartment complex or community makes a decision not to have pit bulls in their community, they're actually saying that they don't want this particular race in their community because this race typically research has shown that this race owns pit bulls. So this is if you say this, the argument that he's making, his name is Patrick, and that argument that Patrick is making is that then you are encouraging by the same logic you're encouraging racism. So if I have to counter argue with him, you can see I'll be trying to look at racism And I will say that I know that it's not going to be ethical for me to say that, you know, that the, you know, when he's making analogy of racism being a factor, or being a factor that is, how do I even say this? That is kind of, he's using racism as a factor to push his case for accepting or having no restrictions on the breeds of dogs. I can counter argue with him that it is not a racism issue here. Though he has said it's racism, I can say it's not a racism issue at all. I think what people are, the apartment community, why they're making this call is because it is because of the safety. It's a safety challenge. If there are breeds that are aggressive, then it becomes a dangerous situation for other residents in the community. So I don't think it's the fact that you said it's a racism issue. I don't think it's a racism issue. I think it is a safety hazard. That's how I'm going to counter argue with him. So this is just give you an example as to how do you counter argue with a person. So this is the way. So once you post your speech class, once you post your argumentative speech, you hear the speeches of your classmates, choose at least two, and come up with the counter argument. You just heard Patrick's speech on pet restriction, and you saw me counter arguing with him, saying that this is not a racism issue, it is a safety issue that you should be talking about. Why are you even talking about racism? And by some logic, which I don't think that logic is that there's some relevance, but I don't think that's the current need, or that's the current concern. The concern that people in this apartment community, whoever the management is, I think their concern is about the safety rather than avoiding some people who are who are considered to own these kinds of pets. So that's what I'm going to say. So you've got to counter argue. So once you hear the speeches of your classmates, you at least need to choose two classmates and counter argue on their speeches. Okay. So yeah. So going back to your. Going back, 1 second here. Okay, so this is what I said, that so you need to respond to the speeches, to your classmates with at least two, with your counter arguments for at least two of your classmates. Okay, then that's what you do on Saturday. Okay. And the time to respond to them is by 11 p.m. on Saturday, December 5th. You come back on Sunday, all right, on Sunday, and then you go react and see what people have said. Okay, so if it is Patrick, okay, just give you the example. If it's Patrick, here is his speech, and let me see whether you guys can see. Yeah, so this is Patrick's speech, and Patrick sees that, let's say I'm his classmate, okay? And Patrick sees that Rishmi has a counter argument for him, okay? So then Patrick sees that not only Rishmi, there's somebody else, Sarah or Mike, or three of them have counter argument for him. So what Patrick does, he goes back on Sunday, and by 5 p.m., he responds to my counter arguments. He refutes. How do you respond back? By doing a refutation. We're going to talk about that in details, but basically he shows that so we go back and forth with each other. He listens to my counter argument, and then he responds to it. He shows that my counter argument is weak. It doesn't really, or it is valid, but it's pretty weak. It really doesn't affect his claim. Or he says that maybe my counter argument is wrong. I need to do research. Or he may say that he may give me another option. Okay, another option. He comes with another with a response for me. So he basically refutes. When I say refuting it, is then when I say refutation, what refutation means is he shows how my counter argument is basically wrong. Okay, and how his position is superior. That's what happens in the debate. You go back and forth with each other. So going back here, so again on Saturday, you by Saturday, you got to type it all out and put it here on the discussion board. And then you go to Go React, record your speech, put it there by 5 p.m. on Saturday. And then all your friends starts posting on Saturday, and you choose at least 2 of your friends and then come and give them one counter argument, counter argument each. But this needs to be done by 11 p.m. on Saturday. And then next day, which is Sunday, you come back and then you go to your speech and you see a few goodie bags for you. So you'll see, some of your classmates have given you some counter arguments. You respond back to their counter arguments with your refutation on Sunday. Okay, so that's what you need to do. All right. Having said that, I have graded all your informative speeches. I have graded your discussion boards posts that you did in regards to your persuasive speech topics, in terms of your school creativity argument that you did, whether creativity is killed by a school system, Ken Robinson's speech, and you kind of came up with your own argument. Yeah, so all of that is all graded. Please go to Go React, and with all of your speeches, you'll see that I have posted my video comments and the grade has been entered on Gradebook. The only ones that is left is persuasive speeches. I will be getting to persuasive speeches, the ones that you did on Sunday. All right, I should be getting to it by this weekend. All right, so if you have any questions, you know how to reach me. You can call me, text me. That's the best way to reach me. All right, or else you just put a question here, ask your professor. I hope to see all of you soon. I hope you guys have fun with this, because I know my 2 of my classes, they were like so enthused about debates. So yeah, so and we're going to and next week when we meet, we are going to get into the depth of how to counter argue very well, and then not only counter argue, how to refute our speeches. Remember, this is what you need to do this week, and then you'll have a very similar exercise for your last speech. I'm going to tell you to do the exact same thing actually for your next last speech. So which is December 13th, and after that we don't meet anymore. So yeah, we just have about 2 weeks class left. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. Bye. Thank you.